Editing Audrey here, and you may be thinking, already? And yes, it is already, because this has been such a chaotic video. I attempted to edit it, but I was like, nope, not gonna happen. Basically, I tried to talk about like 15 of my favorite fandoms, and it was just all a little too much. I could make like 15 different videos based on that. So we're gonna go with top 5. I'm gonna give you just a little glimpse, and if you guys want more, trust me, I have the footage. So I really hope you enjoyed this. This is a very, very small glimpse into a lot of the things that I love. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's nerd out.
Hopefully, you identify with one, and please let me know if you do, because I'm constantly looking for people to fangirl about stuff with. Especially now that I'm in college, most people are like, yeah, I love The Bachelor, and I'm like, my feelings on The Bachelor are pretty neutral. It's fine. It's mostly a group activity in my opinion, but I don't want to be like, these are the ones I think are the best, It's just like, these, like, I'm ranking them based on like how they've impacted my life, and just some of them it's like it's because I'm really into them right now, and some of them it's because I was really into them in my childhood, and they really shaped who I am, so we have a wide range of content today. I hope you enjoy me completely freaking out for like 20 minutes. Let's go. We're starting to get into the juicy stuff now, finally, after after a way too long a video. Editing Audrey, I'm so sorry for the length of this. Number 5 is Star Wars. Now, I mean, obviously it was a big part of my childhood. My dad loves Star Wars. He was obviously there for the original trilogy, and he introduced that to me. Then, obviously the prequels were like the 90s, so I didn't watch those originally. 90s or early 2000s? Early 2000s? I gotta look that up. But, like, I watched all those, and then obviously I've been here for this whole show that is the new trilogy. I didn't like a lot of it, but I'm a big Reylo fan, and putting the caveat here that I understand the problematic at best and abusive at worst elements of how that ship is portrayed in the movies, but the reason I like it is because of what the fandom and fans did with the concept of that pairing through like fanfic and fan art and just lots of really great content to turn that ship into something that I love. And that honestly is why it's so far down on my list, is because like fandom really shaped Star Wars for me into something that I enjoy a whole lot more than if I just watched the movies without any engagement from, the community. And that, I think, is really what fandom is about. It's about making things better, enhancing your experience. Number 4, now we're starting to get sentimental. So Percy Jackson is number 4. Percy Jackson was my first like fandom, it was the first book series I read where I was like, man, I'm invested in this on a level above just reading the books, I have like a wall over there of like, I don't know if I really want to show it to you because it's like a bunch of sticky notes, literally from when I was in middle school reading those books of just like, and most of them are, Percy Jackson and Heroes of Olympus quotes. I love that series. I went to like the book signing for, I think it might have been the Mark of Athena. I think it might have been. I have to go find my book, and I got it signed by Rick Riordan, and we drove, my dad was so nice to drive me like 3 hours away from where I live to go to this book signing, and I dressed up for the premiere. I dressed up like Piper from the series because it was like I had a Halloween costume that kind of fit, and I really wish I had a picture of that, but I will never forget this. I was the only person dressed up at that book signing, and someone came up to me and asked me for a picture, and they took a picture with me, and the picture was taken on their Nintendo DS. And if that doesn't describe my childhood, if that doesn't perfectly like epitomize like childhood fandom, I don't know what does. It's one of my lowest points and my highest points at the same time. I like I mean those will always just have such a big place in my heart. I'm trying to convey like how much they mean to me. And I read like the Percy Jackson series, Heroes of Olympus and the King Chronicles. I loved all of them. And then after that I kind of just dropped off. I have the first books for like his Norse series and Trials of Apollo, which I am still interested in, but I just never got around to reading them. That kind of makes me sad, but I'm kind of afraid to start on more stuff from him because it's just been such a long time. I don't know if it's still my taste. I don't know. Maybe I should just do it. But Percy Jackson is like, it's practically the equivalent of Harry Potter to me. It's like Harry Potter that I got to engage more in. We'll get to Harry Potter, don't you worry. Number three on this list is Stranger Things. And this is really hard. We're kind of getting into it. It's all a tie at this point.
Okay, so I'm continually finding that this video is messier and messier, and honestly, I think I had the biggest brain fart because I started talking about Stranger Things and then immediately went on to the next one without having acknowledged it in my brain at all. It's like I hadn't even remembered the last 5 seconds of what I was talking about. So I even bored myself to death. I'm so sorry. What I was supposed to be talking about was Stranger Things, one of my favorite fandoms right now. I'm like really in the thick of it. Whenever a new series comes out, I was really into the first season, but the second season just like solidified like me loving this forever. And then the third season was even better. I mean, obviously, like, 4th of July was, like, superior. I actually, instead of, going to the pool or watching fireworks for my 4th of July, I had a Stranger Things watch party, and I watched the entire season in one day. I had, like, waffles, I made a sign, I bought a t-shirt. Like, there is nothing better than just, like, being with something from the ground up. This is one of the only things that I've really like been with since the beginning, and I love it. My whole family loves it. It's just always going to be an iconic piece of pop culture, and I think most people understand that by now. But yeah, I obviously can't wait for the second season, and I'm really impressed with it. I'm impressed with how well done it is. I'm not like a thrill-seeking person. I hate like horror and thrillers and things that scare the crap out of me, but with Stranger Things, for some reason, I don't mind. It's just really engaging, and I love the ships, honestly. I get through it for the ships. I'm a huge Malevolent shipper. I love Mike's sister and Will's brother, whose names I can't even bother to remember, apparently. Nancy and someone else. There are so many people to ship on the show. So many people. And I love Mad Max. She was a really great addition. I love Millie Bobby Brown. I mean, honestly, I'm about as much in the Millie Bobby Brown fandom as I am in the Stranger Things fandom. Like, all the kids are so talented, and it's just like, it's just some good, wholesome entertainment that I'll honestly never forget. So there's a really chaotic and last minute Stranger Things take.
Number two, obviously, just you can't beat a classic. I mean, it's an unconventional classic. I feel like not a lot of people are like, oh my god, How to Train Your Dragon, but yeah, for me, that's just it. But How to Train Your Dragon has been such a like constant just like thing throughout my childhood. The first one came out when I was 10, and I loved it. I wasn't really into it as a fan, but I loved it. How to Train Your Dragon 2 came out when I was like a freshman, summer of my freshman year of high school, and I loved it. Again, I loved it even more. But like when they started to look like me, you know, like the fact that they were teenagers, I started to feel like, wow, like I started to feel like a deeper connection to it. And I just thought that movie was the perfect sequel. I legitimately thought it was the perfect sequel. And I kind of still do. It was so amazing. And I think it's still my favorite of all of them. Uh, and after that, I was in the fandom. I really was. I've read so many fanfics about How to Train Your Dragon. And the only piece of fanfic I've written that I liked was about How to Train Your Dragon. I am proud of that. If any of you can find it, kudos. But I love it. It's like such a hero's journey, but it's also very romantic. It has such healthy relationships, like romantic relationships, but it's also just so interesting, you know. I think the healthy relationship I'm referring to, not all of the relationships are like like the most healthy, but like I just think Astrid and Hiccup, like. And then How to Train Your Dragon 3, that came out when I was is it a freshman in high school? Was it a freshman in college or senior in high school? Oh, I don't remember. But I think it was when I was a freshman in college. Yeah, I think it was. Because that meant so much to me. And then like, because it was like the conclusion of my childhood, honestly. The timing, eerie, honestly. So, I mean, it was kind of like closing the chapter in my childhood, but then also like I just getting like delving into that fandom and like honestly escaping reality through that fandom, it got me through a really tough time in my life. So that's just always going to have a lot more meaning to me than anything else. It's just so special, you know. It's rare that like a piece of pop culture coincides so precisely with your childhood. It reminds me of like what like Star Wars means to like my dad, you know, except for me being the emotional person that I am, taking it up a level. And number one is number one because it's kind of the fandom to end all fandoms, and that's Harry Potter. Obviously, like it's just a thing. Everyone who's ever been like a fan of anything knows the impact of Harry Potter, whether they like it or not, whether they identify with it or not. I mean, it transcends like everything else, you know. And I read the books. I flew through the books when I was in elementary school, and I was too young to really like understand that there was a fandom for me to be a part of. And I ended up getting into it later, more when I was, you know, in like middle school and high school. And, you know, I have just such an appreciation for it. I remember I was just old enough to have like the awareness of like, you know, movies and stuff and making my own choices to where I was like, oh my gosh, I really want to see Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. I had all of the other movies I had on like DVD because they were released, you know, before either just like before I had finished the books, before I was all caught up. And my parents wouldn't let me see it because it was PG-13 and I was like 10. And I made a PowerPoint presentation to prove to them why I was mature enough to go see Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. And so we went and saw it in IMAX, and like it was just so nice to be able to have caught the tail end of the movies, because I wasn't old enough to have caught like the midnight releases and stuff like that. And I think I'll always wish that I had caught that. But I mean, it's kind of the fandom that never stops. And like, I keep talking about like magic and fandoms. Like, Harry Potter kind of created the magic that bleeds into other fandoms for me. It was my foundation, you know? That's the thing. It's my foundation, and it continues to just like inspire me all the time. And even though the Fantastic Beasts fandom is kind of a mess, I really enjoyed the first movie. The second movie was that was like the ultimate chaotic energy. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. So there's not a lot of people who are like that in the fandom. hopefully the third one gets better. Because I was so excited when the first when the first Fantastic Beasts movie came out, and I was so disappointed when like everyone just decided that it was bad, because the whole point about being in a fandom is sharing your love of something, not your hate for it. And I found that to be kind of a problem in the Stranger Things fandom too. I mean, Stranger Things is just about people not recognizing that the kids that they're being so judgmental towards are kids. That really annoys me because it has real world implications for them. I mean, they're going to develop anxiety and they're just going to develop so much. They're not going to be able to trust a lot of people because of this. And I feel so bad about that. Obviously, like, Harry Potter also spawned my love for Emma Watson, who's like my ultimate female role model. She's just amazing. It's such a good series. It's such a good series. It's the foundation for everything. I hope this made some sense. I hope this isn't an hour long. I hope that you enjoyed what I had to say. I hope that you identified with some of these fandoms. If you do, please let me know. I need friends. I need fandom buddies. I need someone to geek out about these things with. So, I hope this gave you a little insight into my brain, into what I do on a daily basis. I hope that I have a good dinner. Does anyone else just really look forward to dinner at this point? Like, oh, last meal of the day. I'm gonna start a Harry Potter marathon tonight too. I should have mentioned that. Hope I didn't ramble too much, and goodbye.